Well, this take is useless. Hello ladies and gentlemen of the internet, it's RJ, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Ultraman Zett Alpha Edge. Starting with Mr. Zett's articulation, I bet you're expecting me to say it's the exact same as all the other ones. You're kinda right. So for the head, standard fare, it's just on a ball peg and then a ball joint for the neck, so he can look all around. Standard Figuarts shoulders, along with a butterfly hinge, pretty self-explanatory. Shoulders are on a ball joint attached to the arm, so if you want to raise the arms to do the Zestium Ray pose, it looks a little awkward. Double jointed elbows, but they're a little bit limited, so that's really the most you're going to get out of those. Ball peg for the wrists. This one likes to split at the joint. The figure is not broken, but it is kind of a pain in the ass to fix it when it happens. Joint for the chest, as well as the midsection. Now the hips are where things get kind of funky, a little dicey. As you can see, he's got this very thick armor on his thighs. And in case you couldn't tell, based on my other reviews, I have terrible luck when it comes to paint transfer and stuff scraping. So, to circumvent stuff like this, the figure sorta kinda has ever so slightly of a pull down, so when you move the legs, you are not scraping the shit out of the sculpt right here. But as previously mentioned, he's got the inset Figuarts hips. Very practical, they look very nice. Double jointed knees. Figuarts ankles. Except the feet don't really turn very well. They're there though. And then the classic toe hinge for all of your toe hinge needs. Moving on to details, such is pretty standard for this line. The figure looks absolutely incredible. The silver on Zett is a little bit glossier and a little bit more metallic looking than it is on some of the other Ultras, so he really stands out in a display. The problem with that is if you want uniform looking characters, that might bug you a little bit, but the characters all look pretty different anyways. My really only major gripe with this figure's design is the eyes look really stark and bright on the suit, and they're just kind of white here. I understand that effect isn't super easy to get on a figure this size, but it's one of the most interesting looking parts of the suit, and I don't really feel it was captured that well on this figure, but they look alright. We got all the very nice paneling all over the armor. We got the blue accents between the protectors, and just very nice looking in general overall. So if you're a fan of the way this character looks, you are absolutely going to be happy with this release here. For Zett's accessories, I know I said the eyes were my main complaint with the figure, but that was a fucking fabrication. My main complaint with the figure is here's the tray. You see all the accessories? I don't. We have 3 pairs of hands, 2 of which are almost identical. The standard red color timer, and that's it. So, as previously mentioned, here's the flat chopping hands. Standard with, I just shook the camera, standard with every Figuarts Ultraman release. And then we have the Space Kempo hands, which are exactly the same, but the fingers are a little bit bent. And then we have the grasping hands, which are also essential. Now, as I said earlier, mine has a problem with the wrist joint. So if you are not careful swapping out hands, let's see if, yeah, it does it. As you can see, perhaps if the camera decides it's going to focus. If the camera decides it's going to focus. Well, that was unnecessarily difficult. So as you can see, the joint for the wrist split in half trying to take the hands off. So now we gotta try to put that back together without breaking anything. Voila, it's back in. So it helps if you just kind of grab at the base of the hand and tug very tightly. And now we're going to replace it with this one here. We're gonna speed this up in editing so I don't look like a fucking idiot. So there we go. Now let me recontextualize my argument. I like that these hands are included, because you need them for his signature pose. I just wish that more stuff was also included, because having two relatively similar sets of hands and nothing else is a little bit underwhelming. He doesn't come with the Alpha Chain Blade, the Zestium Beam, the Alpha Mazer. He doesn't really come with anything. From what I understand, they talked at Tamashii Nation, and these accessories are coming, but they're doing what they did with Taiga and releasing them with other figures. Now this is something they started doing with the Rider figures. What they'll do is the main character's main form will be a little bit cheaper than a standard release, but they'll come with almost nothing. And then either the motorcycle or other characters will come with essential accessories, and that's so you buy everything. It's more expensive in the long run, but the entry point's cheaper, so not a fan of this approach personally, but I like the show, so I'm already planning on buying these figures. It's just a pain in the ass that none of this stuff is in the box at release. For packaging, the figure comes in a very nice blue box, once again keeping the uniformity of having a picture of the suit instead of the figure on the front. Nothing on the side. And then a bunch of promotional pictures on the back. And no bluefin sticker on the bottom because I bought this straight from the Asias. For scaling, here we have him with some other figures, namely his buddy Savengar and the Ultra Act Glitter Tiga. So as you can see, he's pretty standard size for a Figuarts Ultra, so he really won't scale well with any of the figures that came out during the show's run. So overall, Zett Alpha Edge is a very solid, very well put together figure. If it came with just a few more accessories, just a beam, anything, this would have been probably my figure of the year, because it looks and it handles incredibly. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I had a little bit of a personal stake in this figure. I really wanted the Alpha Chain Blade, and that looks like the only attack that is not getting released for this figure. The Zett Riser is coming with Juggler, the Zestium Beam is coming with Zett Original, the Lance Arrow is coming with Jeed. You know what isn't coming with anything? The Alpha Chain Blade, unless you count the people on Twitter cannibalizing it out of other stuff. But, once again, not really any problems with the figure itself, just gotta get creative with the posing, I guess, which they're articulated figures, it's kind of the point. It just would have been nice to have a few more options of what to do with him. If you like the way the figure looks, or you like the show, and I imagine there's a lot of you because these figures keep fucking selling out, go ahead and get it. You're not going to be super disappointed. In fact, if you're not really big on effect parts, you probably won't be disappointed at all.